this to your August 11th through the 14th reading. Hope you friends are doing great out there. If you friends like this, please like and subscribe. Okay, friends, you have the Archangel Gabriel coming out over here, which is talking about an easier time to communicate with others. You are very powerful right now in the expression of how you're communicating. So no holds barred there. Expressing your feelings and even working on projects involving communication. So anything that you're communicating at this time, just remember your words are very powerful right now. You are really limelighting your communication skills. Wow. So your throat chakra is really open and you're really rocking it, right? And I love Gabriel over here. He's got this horn, so it's like you're blowing your horn all over the place, you know, making sure that people understand what's going on, and that you want, you know, this call, right? You have the inner calling right now of the throat chakra to really have powerful voice. If you guys are into any kind of work that has to do with, you know, teaching, counseling, journaling, anything on TV or on the radio or anything like that, you're really going to be heard, for sure. And you're going to really limelight like that. A lot of limelighting. With the Uriel of the Sphinx, though, of the 21, this is going to, but yet there is going to be something that is going on, my friends. You know, it's not so easy all the time, right? It's like, well, that sounds great. But this is also going to be a very difficult time for you as well. And digging into what it is you're really looking for. Okay? Because remember, he has to dig that Sphinx out of the ground, out of all that, right? Out of all that sand. So you're discovering, right? Uncovering, discovering things that are going on. And a lot of it is causing a lot of diversity. So you're probably going to have to, you know, open that mouth, right? Which you have no problem right now, right? To really tell your truth, to say what you need to say, really express those feelings and how you're really feeling about this diversity, about what uncovered truths you have found, okay? So over here, it's building. This is, you are the architect. You are building your foundations. You are building whatever it is you're building. You are the master planner of the situation. So, okay, so you are the, not only the architect, but with that Uriel of the Sphinx, you're also, you know, the archaeologist, because you're digging deep. But it's going to take you into a reflective mode, to where you're going to have to really get reflective of what's going on within the situation as you're uncovering truths over here to certain situations and how you're going to rebuild the situation. So it also could do with your daily routines, realizing that maybe some of the things you're dedicating yourself to, when it comes to routines, are just not working. They're working against you more than they're helping you. Okay, so that could be a huge thing at this time. Having a breakthrough, okay? Having breakthroughs through bigger projects, learning bigger, better ways to get things done, right? Walking away from any kind of diversity in situations that are not doing anything but building blocks of maybe BS, right? Sometimes that happens. And you're learning how to restructure and how to remold things within your life, learning to build these blocks of what it is you really need. If you're wrapping up any kind of project or gig at this time, make sure, right, that what you're uncovering may be something that you're realizing that was too much work for what I got paid for. You didn't pay me nothing. I'll never come back to this place again, right? Uncovering their truths of the situation. Right, you might even end up stepping away from the project as you go into reflection mode and realize, you know what, you said you were going to pay me this and you did not. So take it how it resonates. Everybody's story is different. It could even be love. It could be anything. So let's see what's going on. Clarify on this situation, please. Uriel the Sphinx. What is going on for the majority of everybody here? Self-discipline, opposition. Yeah. Carelessness. What you're finding out and you're digging up is that there's a lot of carelessness going on around you, and somebody may be in opposition against you. And you know what? Or somebody is lacking direction and you can't keep them together, right? Yeah. And this is causing a diversity. Like I said, it could be even within the homestead. But it does look like you are soul searching. There it is again. Soul searching for the situation, going into this hermit mode. right? So you can seek that truth within the situation. That seeking the truth is where you're going to really find out when you dig deep what is really going on within this situation. Why are you so aggressive? Why are you acting arrogant? Why are you careless on the job? You know, where's your self-discipline? Where's your direction? You don't even know where the hell you're going. Why are you opposing me and causing diversity? So really, you know, really getting deep over there and trying to figure out the situation. This is where you're building something. Now that's interesting because the architect is building something. This is where you start coming back together and collaborating. This is where you're going to start learning the truth within the situation. You're going to learn about the restrictions. You're going to learn about the toxicities, codependencies, whatever the attachments are, whatever is going on within the situation that could be restraining someone from wanting to go to work or why they're acting this way. This is where you're going to find out the truth, right? And nothing but the truth, right? Why aren't you giving to me? I give to you and you don't give back. This is where you're going to find that there is a one-sided situation going on in this situation. And it's like it's almost like a build up. I could have given you money and you didn't pay those debts. So you have the unpaid debts even though I gave you the money. Why didn't you pay the bills when I gave you money? However it is. The reflection, though, is saying that you are going to try one more time. You are going to avoid this situation in a lot of ways because it does feel like you want to try to build this. You want to try to fix this, right? You're trying to get the justice and the truth out of this situation. The avoiding is the speaking my truth, but I'm not going to go so far that I'm going to cause diversity back. I'm just going to help you complete the project, get the bigger things out of the way, do what needs to be done, and then we're going to let the situation go because as I unravel the truth over here, I'm realizing, what we need to recover from. Understanding the recovery, 5 of Pentacles in reverse, that there is a recovery that has to be done, and it could be with finances, right? Whether it's on a project or however it is. But there is definitely going to be more planning to the situation so that you can get to the Fool, right? So whatever it is that you're undiscovering over here, my friends, it is something that you're definitely feeling like, okay, this has to be worked out in a different way. 3 of Pentacles, we have to get together. We have to become a team. Because if we don't do this, we're just going to walk away from this. It's going to be an unresolved issue for really no reason at all, just because you were careless, because, you didn't do what you were supposed to do. So there's definitely a push and pull energy going on over here that you're discovering why they're doing what they're doing, right? But it does feel like you are trying to speak your mind, keep your words as expressive as possible with Archangel Gabriel, and get down to the situation through communication. Because right now it's saying nothing's going to do anything unless we communicate the situation, right? Because if their discussions and their communication are slow, you're going to open them up like a can of worms and say, no, you're not going to ignore this situation. We're going to have a little talk. Okay? And this is really where it starts getting the ball rolling through this diversity, through this understanding of what's going on. If they don't want to be flexible, they're going to find some flexibility because, yes, you're going to have a mental breakthrough over here of how this is going to work. Understanding where this has to be. If this is going to work, then it has to work this way. You have to understand if we're building something as an architect, it has to be this way. It can't be any other way. Right, guys? I mean, really. Right? So, yeah. The overall card in the end of the reading is the 10 of Cups, saying that this will come back together. You will get the contentment that you're looking for. Everything that was, playing it small, not looked at right, kind of the undercover brother thing going on over here where you're not telling me that the electrician wasn't supposed to be here until Monday and I'm over here waiting for them for Friday. It feels like you know what this feels like more than anything? It feels like, yeah, definitely inflexibility. But it also feels like a lot of laziness. Inept. Lack of direction, for sure. The diversity comes from them not opening their mouth. From them not telling you things that they're supposed to be telling you, which causes frustration and diversity. Right? Absolutely. So that's pretty much what it is. It's where they can't speak about what's going on about the situation and just letting it go. You're going to have to get in there and discover, what are you doing? Because it's almost like they're hiding secrets, right? If you're uncovering truths, that means they're hiding secrets. That's how it feels. But in actuality, it doesn't even really feel like it's secrets. It feels like, I didn't think much about it, so I didn't really care. So, I just fucking, oh boy, I didn't, right? Where you're feeling it's like shocking ideas, and things that are going on, they're not finding it as big of a deal as you are. That's why you have the breakthrough. And I think the breakthrough is you're going to realize they just don't have the discipline that you have. They just do not have, the control that you have. They do not have the direction. They do not have the care. So then when you come to them to say something, yes, they could be becoming aggressive or arrogant about the situation. Right? That's where the diversity is, where you guys are bumping heads. And then in the end, you kind of like reflect on it and say, we're kind of bumping heads over freaking nothing. Because in seriousness, all they need to do is open their mouth and say, yeah, well, right? I mean, because that's how it's going to feel. You'd be like, wow, all of that for, for almost nothing. Just because you want to be lazy right now, or however. So trust within the situation and be assertive with your words, get out there. You don't have to be aggressive, just be assertive. You can be assertive without being aggressive. That assertiveness is that firmness, And that's the getting in there, being firm about it. You tell me what seems to be the problem. I'm not aggressive. I was firm, right? If I was aggressive, I'd be yelling, screaming, and carrying on so. Right? But it is the perfect timing to get this done, because otherwise it just feels like there's not going to be any clear communication. So right now is the time for communicate clearly with the person so you can have the abundance. Otherwise, it's just going to continue to keep going on and on and on and on and on. Right? And it could be going on for quite a while, and you're just like, that's it. I'm opening my mouth. This is time. We need to get responsible and work together. It's definitely something that has to do with working together. And if you're not on the same page, then you're not going to be able to get this together, no matter what the situation is. Somebody keeps dropping the ball and then not saying they're dropping the ball, right? So I drop the ball, then I don't tell you, and you're like, where's the ball? And I just like kind of walk away from you. That's not going to work, right? That's not how it's going to be. So this will bring in some new opportunities and fresh starts over here with the Fool coming in. This will get you more focused. This will actually get them more focused too, once they understand where you're coming from and what they're doing. But they have to understand that they need to grab their power and, actually start communicating, because I feel that this is communication breakdown that ends up in a, like I said, butting heads all the time. Okay. Until next time, my friends. Peace and love. Bye-bye.